Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to EBUCC, the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships 2023. Going into the brackets, mixed quarter-final stage, pre-quarter-final stage even. Let me stop getting ahead of myself. An all-French encounter with RFO, the Ray Flying Oysters, up against Tchac from Pornichet. Benji Rees here with you in the booth, delighted to be alongside Hannah Pendlebury once more.
Yes, Benji, mixed action, the round of 16 playoff knockout time. And we are keeping our eyes peeled on the brackets. I mean, live.ebucc.eu if you want to follow along. We have hard-working volunteers out here under the hot French sun, keeping us informed as to how all of these matches develop. But this is going to be a display and a half. RFO clearly with more personnel, and I have to say Tchac are missing a couple of their key people. Marco Delal with a strained hamstring, and Elise Becquet having gotten a bit of funkiness in her adductors, so she will not be appearing on pitch for Tchac.
Yeah, these two sides with slightly differing fortunes. Tchac in Pool D, wins over Panic and Jabba the Huck, but close losses to Ufa and Discalaris. You're getting a shot of Charlotte and Anais, our French language commentators, because we are offering this game in two different tongues. And for RFO in the mixed division, they were in Pool C, which was the pool of 6. They lost one game, dropped a universe point heartbreaker to Corrocota of Spain, but carried wins through Terrible Monkeys, AKSY, Gleisdorf and Rebel to put them as second in the pool and facing Tchac, who are the third place side in Pool D.
Well, the all-French showdown. There was a comment made in our booth, Benji, that everybody that wants to watch this game is already here on the sidelines. I'm not sure that's entirely accurate.
No, I think that I was maybe exaggerating, a bit guilty of a little bit of hyperbole, but you know, I'm sure there are other Ray Flying Oysters out on the beaches here in Royan. I'm sure there'll be a lot of French Frisbee players who've come down just to take in all the action anyway. But even if you're not here, we welcome you along all the same.
Absolutely, and let us know where you are tuning in from in the comments on this live stream. And as we already mentioned, if you are francophone, get yourself onto the other version variant for our dual French language commentary. But we can maybe sprinkle some in here and there, right? We're British, we learned French in school.
Oui.
Well, hopefully this is going to be un bon jouet.
So we're just waiting to see both sides break their huddles there, trying to G each other up. I'm sure that there are storylines all over the picture. So I look forward to seeing how it plays out on the sand here.
Well, we are just getting ready to start. We'll be seeing Tchac playing in their white jerseys, and RFO will be in this sort of fetching burgundy colour. I do sort of dig the contrast of the orange numbers.
Yeah, I'm down. They're very legible, so that's the main thing in our book.
But it is a curious choice of colour contrast in terms of the design.
And it's a very traditional kind of the navy on the white for Tchac.
Yeah, Tchac have a really lovely little logo on their shorts and their shirts. It's a clean look, very classic.
I mean, it's a lovely afternoon out here in Royan. The temperature is ramping up a little bit now, so I must admit, I'm pretty happy to be hiding in the shade.
Yes, our pasty white, pale British skin being kept under wraps by this very nice beach hut that came in handy yesterday during the lightning storm delay that we had. Of course, shifted the things a little around here, but we're getting more back to the conditions we used to in Royan. I believe back in 2017 when this hosted the World Beach Ultimate Championships, players were blistering the undersoles of their feet because the temperature on the sand was so high. So perhaps a little bit of a luck in the dampening of the conditions yesterday, keeping things cool underfoot.
I'm pretty sure the entirety of the municipality of Royan had sold out of sand socks. So Tchac are going to pull. Disc is in the hands of fiancette, which means that we'll have 3 female matching and 2 male matching players on this first point. You can see there on the radio picture, Elise Becker with the strapping on the left thigh to try and ease the adductor.
Well, she's looking to get herself some curious tan lines as well.
So RFO bringing it on offense. The impressive Kais Mate will start down the sideline, kept in there by Lachi. Getting a little bit more lateral space to work with. Blanc. Mate collects the reset. He's got a bit of strapping of his own.
Well, strapping young lad as well.
Role. Down to Lachi. Lachi opening it up. De Meulemester makes the catch. And you can tell that RFO and the home crowd are jazzed about that one. They take a 1-0 lead, a clean hold.
Yeah, a little bit of a sailor from Tiffen Lachi, but that is a fantastic bit of read underneath it. Pressure from the defense, but De Meulemester, nice and clean, and pretty on the level start to this game, which is exactly what is required. This is indeed knockout stages, so you cannot have any errors creep in early stages. So let's see how Tchac can respond. I have a feeling they're going to do pretty well. Of course, last time at the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships, they took 4th after a rematch of their pool play game against B-Fire, the spicy Italians.
Steepling blade from the pool, and it's going to roll out of the back of the end zone. Axel Roger is going to bring this one in. I think it landed in and then rolled out, so we'll get it from the front line of the end zone. Vanessa ready to apply the mark. Roger is just taking his time. See Roble matched up with Loire in front of us. Roger brings in. Starts with the break to Eva Bono, playing against her sister Lisson here, although not matched up against each other on this point. Trying to get the trap on the sideline, swung across. Good hands from Aurora Langlois. Axel Roger trying to arc that blade in deep. Ortois got very close, but not quite close enough. And the ever impressive Sullivan Roble levels us up at 1s.
Yeah. As always, a picture-perfect throw from Axel Roger. Oh, this is just such a talented squad. The depth is apparent in Tchac. Lots of household names we are used to hearing, normally on grass, but clearly able to adapt themselves to this beach surface just as well.
Yeah, both sides. It's always interesting when you play a side that you're probably more than familiar with, because you feel like you've probably already got some of those matchups worked out. You know how each other's play, and I find it generally does lead to those close games, kind of regardless of how hot your form's been going in.
Well, we've seen some of the tighter games here on the beach go with relatively short score lines. I think yesterday we had our final stream game of the day get to the record, currently totaling the 24 points. Nobody's managed to give themselves the full 25 in a 12-13 final universe point thriller. But this one, with the rapidness of both teams' execution, we could get quite a high-scoring game.
Mate fields from the floor. There was a cut laterally across, but she didn't like it. High stall towards the far sideline. Blanc. Mate with a little bit of a jump step. Flick past Quentin Roger. Oh, Mate got that one all wrong. Far too easy for Fight to tip that off, but Mate earns it back. Much to the delight of the home crowd. Role, back to Mate. Blanc. Past the bidding defender, throws it into De Meulemester. Mate wants the reset behind. Swinging, breaking the mark to Salome Role. Blanc wants a shot downfield. Can she sit it over the head of the defender? Just sits it out there, and Fai couldn't make the gap closed, and it's the pop-off from Perron into Salomé Rollet to make it 2-1.
Salomé Rollet collecting first goal for this game. Currently residing in La Rochelle, which is just north of us here. Some teams flying in and out of La Rochelle's International Airport. Ex-Frisbee player from the last EBUCC, so it would have been in Portimao. And of course, one of the junior French players. And also, fun fact for you, Benji, one of the 10 players to list Livka Volchak as one of their sporting heroes.
Clearly, she's making an impact. Here's a replay of that score. Perron just tossing that backhand for Rollet. Mate would have been disappointed to throw that turnover. It was, I mean, you could see from the second he left his hand that it was not how he intended to release it, but did brilliantly to earn it back, and they made the most of their second chance.
And so quickly as well. I think maybe one pass happened before that huge run through.
Axel Roger is going to bring it in from the brick mark this time. Changing back to 3 female matching players at this point. Low release. Eva Borno. Wanting it down the line, not quite there. Can she find a way to get it off? Through the mark of her sister, Lisson. Sané. Langlois. The force came across to really stop that break going through, but they couldn't stop Roger burning to the open side to tie us at 2s.
Yeah, nice bit of work there. And I tell you what, we finally got to see it, Benji. A Borno on Borno matchup.
Hopefully the first of many.
Well, the first one goes in favour of the Tchac variant. Eva Borno besting her sister with those fakes on her line space.
Yeah, I think Lisson is the older of the two. But both of them, you know, they're all right. Just, you know, casually represented France at the World Games. Handy set of legs to have.
It's like they're the French variant, perhaps, of the Cardenas sisters. Both Dijonese players.
Big shoes to fill, but...
Well, they've got time, because they're both, I don't know, 12? No, they're not. They're not quite that young.
Quite that young, but...
They're not literally as young as...
ahead of them.
Because, of course, yeah, that is a fair point, to be fair. The Cardenas twins both started, I think, at the age of 13, so... Oh,
and just a drop from Perron. Perfect opportunity, potentially, for a break here. Quentin Roger, crash. This is also known. Accepted foul. Perron getting a little bit handsy on the mark. What will Crash do? Looking around. Still count ticks up, and a cheeky little push pass there to Abita.
I do not mind that with the breeze behind you.
No, just don't play against the wind. Utilize it to your advantage.
The wind is your friend.
But it is picking up here. And another bit of contact on the mark. Perron, I understand that he wants to, you know, apply the pressure there, especially after the drop, but he needs to make sure that he's doing it legally. Roger with the break backhand. Abita. Back to Roger, and the simplest of tosses for the score to Gledel to make it 3-2. First break of the game goes Tchac's way.
Well, a nice bit of patience using the short field gift. And that could be a real big game changer. That early error. This is where you have to play your cleanest game possible.
And drops happen. You've just got to find a way to pick yourself up, recover. That time didn't see what he liked forwards, so dishes it off to Roger. Simple into the end zone. There is Crash himself, and you could see how frustrated Perron was. Threw his cap to the floor in disgust at his error. That is 6 players RFO. Counting is hard.
That's why we're ultimate players, not mathematicians. But 3 male matching players on the pitch.
Again, a steepling pool. Mate adjusts, picks up from the floor. First pass forwards to Blanc. Opens the hips, pivots inward. Faking the big flick is Liron. Instead underneath to Blanc. Just moving the disc well, flowing down the pitch. Nice break towards the far sideline. Rollet. Oh, it's a little bit of a pop-up from Mate, who made an excellent adjustment to keep it alive.
That's just ridiculous. He is ridiculous.
Showing why he was such a key part of the French side that picked up a silver medal at under-20s. And oh, Mate, come off it, my friend.
I mean, don't stop. It's amazing. But also, what even?
Mon ami, you cannot be doing that. Liron. Back to Mate. I thought he was going to take on the break backhand there, but he's being a little bit more circumspect with it. Instead, Rollet comes off the front. Mate is the reset. They're going to take it. The backhand down the line isn't there, but the break to the Müller is barely mentioned his name or point, but he comes up at the end when required. RFO hold to make it 3-all, but they have Mate to thank for doing so.
Yeah, Tony de Meulemester making that one look nice and easy. Another of the La Rochelle players. But I'll tell you what, that is just ridiculous scenes, Caius Mate.
If you're not if you don't have, if you're not on board the Caius Mate bandwagon, I think there's still room, but get your seats quickly because it's filling up fast.
He's going to have to pay for some extra carriages, I'm pretty sure.
I was going to say, I didn't even have time to finish my thought that, the French side that picked up the gold at WJUC under-20 division last summer, picked up silver, he was such a huge part of that. Sorry, I'll let you finish your thought.
Oh, no, it's all right. I've got a weird reference to make, but we'll talk about that after this next point.
Weird references. Us. Never. Fai.
With his...
Abita.
Look out for Fai's iconic moustache.
I will do. Roger. To Abita. They're trying to force them laterally here. Doir. Bouncing on his balls with his feet on the force. It's past Crash. And Lisson Borno gets a hand. I thought actually that was alive and maybe someone was going to get some second effort in there. But Tchac, their O-line turns it for the first time. Liron picks up. A couple of players make the cut to the same space. Douarkill is out. Bertrand back to Liron. Now, running that give-go nicely, Liron wants that shortcut, doesn't see it. Now, squares up, and around, it's just too far for Liron, despite the layout attempt. Fioncet picking up quickly. Fai. Now I see the tash, I see it.
It's a glorious thing of beauty, especially when it's teamed with a lurid yellow tutu at Bourg-d'Oisans tournament.
Abita. Back to Canton Roger, excuse me. Rocking the top knot.
Hashtag stop the knot.
Finds the lane through to Fioncet. Fioncet going with the aggressive blade towards the back corner. And it was too aggressive because you saw the wind just push it out of the back of the end zone. I don't hate the look, but the wind decided that it was not to be.
Yeah, that extra zip just sailing it out of bounds. A nice idea, as you say, but that's the second turn generated, I think, from the pressure of RFO. They are gunning for that break back, and I wouldn't mind seeing this one go back on serve, Benji. But
as long as it's tight, I'm happy.
But I cannot, cannot express how difficult it is to throw downwind in the breeze on the beach. It's so much more difficult than on sand, on grass even. But that one, not going to connect with Lisson Borno.
No, went out early and didn't come back in, so it's going to give very good field position here for Tchac. Vanesson's going to have to put on a monster mark, but hey, if anyone could throw anything to break you, it's probably Quentin Roger. Disc brought in. Faking the flick, he's got the reset of fire, that's where he goes. Utilising a bit of throw and go, trying to generate more motion in the offense. Not in the ocean, but near it at least. Roger sitting it out towards the break side, the layout from two players, and neither Fiancette or Abita could make it stick. This time it's the deep shot to Bertrand, brilliantly weighted from Douard. Douard gets it back on the up line. He's going to sit this one out in there. Lisson Bourneau adjusts, but makes the catch. RFO have their break back. It is 4-3 on serve.
Ooh, well, talk about composure. That last throw from Douard was quite the curious release.
You're not enjoying the dad barbecue backhand?
I hate a dad barbecue backhand, as Razu Yasadevin will tell you. But no, I absolutely adore that little bit of offense at the end. The air bounce I do respect. It's a really nice little bit of pop-up. But I tell you what, ice in the veins of Lisson Bourneau. We are back on serve with the advantage for RFO.
For me, it was the deep shot from Douard that Bertrand reeled in that was key to that possession, because it opened up the field. It meant all of a sudden everyone's kind of scrambling to get into position defensively, and they just didn't hold. They didn't like, okay, we've gained some yards, so we'll just be a bit more, you know, chill with what we want to do. We'll play it around the back a bit. No, we've got the window. Let's strike. And
big respect to Quentin Rocher, because I think there was possibly an opportunity where he might have tried to rustle through and cause perhaps some contact on that big bid.
I think there's a little bit of contact there on Marianne Sané, but she keeps it. Eva Bourneau down the line, and it spanners out of the grasp of the usually so reliable Roblet.
Yeah, just smacked a disc in his knees, I think, just trying to run through so hard to maintain possession and undoing himself a little bit.
Down the line, the throw's off target. Eva Bourneau slapped it to the floor. We might, however, have a call here.
It was a little bit of an ugly release on the disc. There was definitely sort of, you know, having to be an adjustment made by Camille Blanc. A fair fight and an retracted foul. So the turnover will stand after a bit of discussion.
Yeah, Cavalcante to the thrower. Roger of the Axel variety to pick up. Zinging it down the line. Langlois. Breaking into the center. Axel Roger. Dishing back to Langlois. The two of them just playing it between themselves for a bit. Not seeing the separation they like downfield. Rakes the blade around. Now zipping it just shy of the end zone. Roblet. Roblet wanted the break backhand, decided against it though, probably wisely. Axel Roger has the force on the floor and he puts it out into space. Chased down superbly by Marianne Sané to make it 4 apiece.
Yeah, really nice throw into space from Axel. Roger just directing that one very nicely, and a solid run. Lots of time under it, plenty of opportunity for Marianne Sané to just maintain that position away from the defender. But that great grind to maintain that one after the turnover off the knee of Roblet. And we continue forward. Not too long expired on the clock, just shy of 20 minutes, so we're nearing the timed half.
I mean, it's so tight, you could barely fit a flake of French pastry between the sides.
Although I'm very excited to see RFO coming back out on offense, because of course we're going to be delighted to Kais Mate. So, Benji.
Hello.
To go back in the times of weird internet history, do you remember that weird spoof about bonsai kittens?
No.
So the idea of like you could put kittens inside a glass jar to make them a different shape than their normal kitteny selves, and this was a horrendous practice and it must be stopped. Complete hoax, absolutely untrue. But I tell you what, Kaius Mate is the bonsai kitten of ultimate Frisbee. He's just everywhere creating weird shapes, and it's like his corpse is made of rubber. Like he just bounces straight back up after making ridiculous inhuman plays, and I love it.
All right, I think I'm with you.
Plus, you know, bonsai kitten with that hairdo is also fantastic, because I'm sure you could clip that into some wonderful shapes.
Mate lays out again, collecting the dump from Blanc. Blanc's just going to come all the way underneath now. Resetting to Mate. Mate towards the break side. Demoulemester. Swinging it back and forth, slowly grinding their way down the field. And finally, there's the put. Rollet opens up the arm. Demoulemester with an excellent adjustment at the end to make sure that he could go with two hands. Throws himself to the floor as he makes the catch, and it is 5-4.
Well, a nice steady one after the grinds we've had during the course of this match. That one steadying the ship a little bit. Bourdon with the throw. And getting himself on the stats board once more. Tony Demoulemester with his third goal of this game. He's only been playing for 6 years. And coming out of the University of La Rochelle. Not just a tourist destination, even though it's, of course, a lovely part of the world to visit.
And the University of La Rochelle, I think, won the French University Beach Nationals on Thursday.
Oh, well, congratulations to them. Still managing to stay fresh and come out and play here.
So, trying to level things up now are Tchac. That one, oh my word. Pazzo beats the floor in exasperation because that did not come off anywhere near like you wanted it. Zipped it way along the sand, and no one's getting to that one.
Every reason to be frustrated with himself. There was separation upfield, but just a squandered opportunity. Tchac playing a little bit more risky biscuit offense when they have the disc.
Strong across Voinesson. Short into the gut of Iran, faking the big one. Separation's not there downfield, so just resetting in their own end zone for now. Lisson Borno, it was part of that university triumph 2 days ago. Downfield finds Voinesson. Voinesson into the end zone. Did it stick in there? It did. Baudin with the layout snag for the RFO break. They lead 6-4.
That was such a hecking grab. My goodness, Nadia Baudin with hands made of glue. We've seen quite a lot of discs come unstuck with big plays here, this sort of sand strip, as it were. As your momentum strikes the ground, the disc just falling out your paws. Of course, we do see more bids, players more likely to throw their bodies around knowing they're going to have a slightly softer landing than you would on the other surfaces for Ultimate. I did a poll actually on my Instagram, Benji, to ask players what their favourite playing surface was. What's your pick?
It's tricky because I'd have to play Frisbee for that.
Well, but when you were a player, you know, you had a long playing career.
A long and undistinguished playing career, yes. I don't know. Like, the problem with beach is that I just kind of dug myself into the sand, so I never really got anywhere, as fun as it was to play. Indoors is great, but it's too much of a tall man's game. I guess outdoors by default, but honestly, kind of like them all.
Well, there are no wrong answers apart from 4G turf, but at the moment it's Tchac causing the errors.
Muddled spacing on the offense, and Dwar's there with two hands to put the smack down into the sand. Liron picking up with a chance to take half. Running a little bit of give-go in the backfield with Cavalcante, who snatches it before the poaching defender. Someone's got to be available. It's Juanesson on the far sideline. Wonderful fast hands there from Cavalcante. Liron being aggressive, and Fai is fully committed to stopping the throw going. In the end, it's just the lateral onto Doir. Doir with a high one. Oh, it's going to be over the hands of Cavalcante. Soran was going to make sure that there was no chance it was rescued. Tattooed Fai ripping this one deep, and Quentin Roger, as much as he tried to motor across the sand, couldn't get there.
Yeah, he's fast, but that was clearly an upset. I want to get the disc away from our end zone. This is too risky. Yes, you have Roger on the back of it, but even Crash isn't that fast.
The first throw of the turnover. Cavalcante again having too much asked of her. Roger centers. Now through the hands, was it rescued? My goodness, it was. I thought for sure it was another end zone drop, but an excellent recovery there to make the catch 6 for 6-5. I'll start that again. Make the catch stick for 6-5.
Well, Tchac are hanging on in here. They're going to need to recompose themselves a little bit. It is looking a little bit dusty. Not the usual slick scenes we see from them, and certainly not quite the level of their performance. They are missing a couple of folks from their 4th placed beach team last time out at the European Championships.
You saw the replay of the catch there from Gledel. Would have been disappointed to not make it work the first time round, but excellent focus. Located the disc quickly and then laid out just to make sure that the opportunity would not be squandered.
It's one of the things you notice about elite ultimate players is that they never lose track of the disc, even when they kind of, don't get that first clutch grab. They keep their eyes on the prize and give themselves those opportunities. You make your own luck, as they say.
Borno from the pool. Mate Fields, nice high release towards the far sideline. Finds that channel inside to Lacci. Lacci dishing off to Mate. Mate, here's Blanc. This offense flowing quite nicely here for the Flying Oysters. Lacci faking the inside flick, past the bidding Borno. Blanc looking towards the end zone, and they spear it right into the front cone there. Slap hands all round as Lacci takes us into half with RFO leading 7-5.
Yeah, absolute credit to the female matching players there for RFO. They really had been given those underneath spaces so many times over. Just taking those opportunities, working it nice and smoothly down the pitch. Didn't look flustered, just taking their time, and great position and sort of presence of mind as well from Case Mate. He sort of was looking at that upline space and then did see Lacci coming underneath and just stopped his cut with enough force and attention that his defender didn't follow through to block that.
Yeah, so we have halftime, but there's no break as such in these short games. You just mirror what you did in the first half and get going again. So that means we're going to have Tchac receiving in the left-hand end zone if you're looking at from our cameras.
Indeed, but there's still plenty of time left to run in this game. Quarter of an hour of the 45-minute regulation time. So opportunities abound for us to get more scandalous plays.
Lisson Borno, hand in the air, ready to pull. Going with the outside in backhand, second half underway. Pull court, first pass, goes central to Sorin. That one, oh, it fluttered a little bit. Had the wrong edge, Gladel reached out but couldn't secure it. Early break chance in the second half here. Cavalcante picking up. And Stillcount getting high, finds the break off to Douar. Douar back to Cavalcante. Cavalcante gunning to the end zone for the layout grab from RFO, and the break to begin the second half. The last thing there that Tchac needed. Lisson Borno laying out to make it 8-5.
I'll tell you what, Benji. I had so much faith in that disc being caught that I had actually already hit the button for our pass stat to open up the scoring function. That was just such a nicely weighted disc, the cut developing picture perfectly. It escaped our glance because it sort of disappears behind the edge of our booth hut here in the sun. But that was just, oh, there's nothing really to add. That was gorgeous.
Timeout here on the field, so we're going to take a break in the booth as well, and we'll rejoin you very shortly.
July from Nottingham, England. The World Flying Disc Federation's World Under-24 Ultimate Championships. Live all-access coverage, including semis and finals, exclusively at ULTI.TV.
RFO break at the first point of the second half. Tchac calling a timeout, down by 3 now. RFO 8, Tchac 5, sorry, the current score. Axel Roger showing the hammer but putting it back in the locker. Across instead to Pazzo. Pazzo. Eva Borno. Down the line looking for Axel Roger, who pops up and rips it before Douar could get there. And it looks like the timeout had the desired effect. Tchac with a clean hold to make it 6-8.
Yeah, nice tight all-star line from Tchac. They have plenty of excellent athletes to choose from, but I'm really enjoying getting to see plenty of the battle for the best Borno. The two sisters matching up against each other. Good break there to find Roger in the deep space. But there have been a couple of players that have not been firing on all cylinders for Tchac this game.
One of the pre-quarterfinals in the mixed division has already wrapped up. A 13-1 win for Margarita Mixed over Crashed the Zone. Elsewhere in the pre-quarterfinals, Ukraine up 9-7 on the Penguins, the French mixed champions, Manchot. Ufa lead the Poles Zwei 10-2. 8-7, Monkey of Grenoble lead Foy. Discolaris 8-3 up on Terrible Monkeys. Korokota 12-2 up on Panic. And B-Fire 5-4 up on Discterics of Girona.
Well, we definitely picked a good one to feature on our live stream, Benji. This is a very dynamic and exciting game.
Wale wanting to wrench the blade deep, and it is bang on the money once again. Nicely poised, but I think certainly RFO are going to be the happier of the two with a 9-6 lead.
That little elevator high release from Kai is just a thing of beauty. That man continues to impress.
Lovely stuff.
And Camille Blanc. I have to shout out, actually, the RFO female matching players have just been so impressive in this game, taking what they're being given when they're on offense, but also the shutdown defense that they're applying on the Tchac players is a thing to be beheld. A lot of times it just doesn't really make it outside of the handler set until those deep spaces go.
The toss backhand, oh my, mon Dieu! Eva Borneau.
Sacré bleu.
Oui, oui. I mean, that's how you make the World Games. Langlois. Tipping it in, a much more rudimentary catch that time for Eva Borneau. And Axel Roger threads it in to Robles to make it 9-7. I think the timeout has certainly just given Tchac that mental reset, because 2 clean holds on their next 2 O points was exactly what they were looking for.
Yes, indeed, Benji. This one now finding that lovely trading clean rhythm, but it's going to have to be some kind of interrupting defensive magic found by Tchac if they're going to get their heads back in this game. RFO haven't wrong-footed really in this second half.
I will say that I am very much enjoying having the French commentary next to us, because there's something, I find listening to commentary in any other language really interesting, because you just get a natural different style and rhythm. But when there's 2 French teams balling out on the sand here, it's yeah, it's tempting sometimes just to down tools and listen to them. But honestly, I'm having so much fun. I mean, sun, sea, sand, and some brilliant beach ultimate. What more could you want?
I honestly couldn't think of anything right now, Benji.
Maybe a nice cold beverage of some sort. Layout that time comes from Blanc. And Blanc wants to rip that one, but that's never going to be caught.
Oh, well, commentator's curse. I said how the female matching players of RFO had been so consistent and very rarely wrong-footed. And a rare error coming out of Camille Blanc. Just a shot that didn't need to be taken, I think.
And as I say it, Stef Pazzo appears with a nice cold beverage. That one, just got the footing caught in the sand. Did Sunday. This goes back to RFO. A great chance for Tchac to come within 1. Squandered. Can they force another turnover? Mate picks up. Showing a cheeky little high release, but I think he wants to be quite that saucy. Instead, falls over as he whips the forehand into the center. Mate. What will he pull out of his box of tricks? Oh, he went for the high release, and it was tipped on the force by Quentin Roger. He thought about the foul call, but it looked clean to me. Good backup on the defense as well. Roger wants to bang his way out of trouble. Eva Borneau went with a trailing edge and couldn't scoop it before it hit the sand.
That is asking quite a lot of Borneau, but I'll tell you what, Quentin Roger is on speed dial. He has definitely got Caïs Mate's number.
I do wonder if she maybe could have gone with it with the left hand, but in the end decided her best chance was with the trailing edge and couldn't quite make it stick. And now it's RFO's chance to call a timeout, so we'll take a much-needed breather here in the booth as well.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and fund our work
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
For the first time ever, from the golden sandy blankets of Portimao, Portugal, BULA and ULTI.TV bring you the World Beach Ultimate Club Championship 2024. The best club teams in the world will converge on the Portuguese Algarve. With expectations for upwards of 150 teams, this promises to be a tournament worth bucket listing. Whether on the sands or watching the action from your screen, WBUCC 2024 is a tournament not to be missed.
9-7 RFO lead Tchac. I see there's been some love in the comments. John Dock says, good from the Cheese Man, which is his nickname for Kais Mate, because Kais sounds a bit like Kas, which is cheese in Dutch.
Kais.
And he coached him at maybe a discing camp, potentially. But I'd like to see that no matter where you are, you don't have to be from France to enjoy the spectacle out there right now. Still count rising, has to put it deep. Excellently read by de Meulemester. Got the better of a beater there. Back to Mate. Much more simple one underneath this time. Blanc. Mate sprints towards the far sideline. The timing and a continuation isn't there. Mate going with the push pass into the front of the end zone and a layout with some toe drag swag to boot. She's mobbed after she makes the catch. 10-7 RFO. I mean, push pass, I'm here for it.
He's so casual, and I really like. I mean, it's one of the things you get out of youth players, right? It's that kind of that swagger, that like beach championships. Say what? I'm used to playing at a much higher level. No, exactly this level of ultimate, but this game absolutely bangs, Benji.
It's a great grab as well from Lachi, and you can see why she, I mean, rightfully so, collected the applause of her teammates.
Yeah, Tiffany Lachi, originally from Blois, currently living in Strasbourg.
Yeah, part of the Frisbee side that, you know, has been certainly making their presence felt more internationally recently.
Yeah, pumping out juniors left, right and centre, but that pumps out into the deep space to absolutely nobody.
I think Langlois knew that it was that or the stall out, so hey, why not put it deep? You never know, someone might be able to make a play, but they couldn't do so on that occasion. Croble, who would have been the closest target. So they could really put themselves in a commanding position here, I think, 4 points. But with Tchac, they're never out of it. Remember the French national final in the Open Division last year, and they dug themselves a huge hole, which they then dug themselves out of. As that throw air bounces out of the far sideline from Doir. Axel Roger picks up. Kept the Roger brothers on different lines so far. Whipped into the center of the field. Croble laid out, couldn't get the catch to stick in the grass, but Voinesson accepts the foul.
Yeah, not the nicest disc, but just too much of a small space to make that play.
The sort of throw that catches you more than you catch it, I think. Croble. Back to Axel Roger. Breaking. Sarin. Looking, nice little shoulder shimmy to get free by Croble. Breaking back to Sarin. Looking for an option. Axel Roger wanting to be aggressive and take the break throw on, as the Roger brothers are often want to do. It's not just about completing the passes, it's about attacking the defense. Lovely high release break there to Langlois. But congestion. And wow, got so low and made himself off balance, so he could just about sneak that on the Doir's mark. And he punched it into Roble to make it 10-8.
Well, using the full 5 there, but what a defensive stand from RFO. That was...
I mean, Tchac really had to work for that one.
Absolutely. Really grinding out, playing in those small spaces. Just almost a little bit of hesitation in the upfield, those players looking to be thrown open rather than making dynamic cuts. The only thing I'd like to see, I think, a bit more from Tchac's offense is pushing through from the back. That kind of, you know, that give-go action of dishing the disc and then trying to just run away, give themselves a little bit more space, a bit more clearance, because they have the talent to allow people to flow back through into the hand of space and just get things moving a little bit more upfield.
2 more quarterfinalists confirmed. UFA with a 13-3 win over AKS Swai and Korakota with a 13-3 win over Panic have booked their place in the last 8. 10-7 here now. Oh, sorry, 10-8 even. Ukraine lead man shots. Monkey still up by 1 on Foy. Discalaris leads Terrible Monkeys B-Fire and Dysterix. Only 1 point difference. Here's the deep shot, and oh, it got a hand on it. And that was enough.
Well, we've talked about RFO playing lots of smother cover defense on their opponents, but that time Tchac seemed to figure out the options that RFO looked for.
Couldn't quite catch the D, but in the end didn't need to. So the whistle goes to signal that that is the time. So cap comes on at the end of this point, so it's game to 12 or 11, depending on what happens here. Quentin Roger putting the blade deep to Phi with the marvelous mustache. He's got the one-on-one in the end zone, but doesn't quite see the separation he wants. A lot of space on the break side for the throw from Crash. Snow cut developing. In the end, Phi runs the circle all the way back to the open side. Just a little pop off there. Back to Quentin Roger, picked downfield.
Yep. Quite a while ago, Phi had the disc in hand when that occurred. Hats off to everybody apart from the players marking Phi and Roger, playing super shutdown defense.
Roger wants to throw that one into Phi. He decided that he had to scoop it with the trailing edge. Heads up from Liron. He just sat in that space.
Absolutely. Great way to hold it. There was plenty of time for Phi to realize that he was there. Collision avoided.
Blade around to Liron. Liron going deep to Mate. The edge takes it too far away. Phi put in a valiant attempt to intercept it in the intermediate space. Quentin Roger wants a little bit more help closer in. Plants his foot. In play. Break to Phi. Sending that one out into space. That is a stonking catch from Eva Bourneau. Under incredible pressure from Blanc. Now another deep shot. This will hang. And, I mean, a skyscraping grab from Liron to earn it back. It's getting a little bit scrappy and spicy now as they can feel the tension of the quarterfinal berth on the line. There's the deep shot, looking for Liron to go coast to coast. Where was the layout bid? You could have been a contender. You could have been somebody. Although he's not had a bad game, to be fair, Liron. We'll let him off.
Oh, poor emotions. My goodness, late stages, Liron having a heckin' game. That sky just took the roof off.
A very partisan crowd here in support of the Flying Oysters. Phi. Abita. Ooh, he wanted the big shot. Liron went for the foot block, and I think he got a piece of Abita's hand there.
Yeah, immediately accepts it and apologises. Not his intention, but that's the risk when you go for the foot block.
High release around, a little bit fluttery. Not a problem for Roger, who wants the inside out backhand deep with the left hand. Oh, it's tipped round the corner. Abita! Come on! I mean, what do you say about that? Sensational second effort grab from Abita for the Tchac break. It's 10-9 in a game at 2-11. Oh my goodness!
Well, I thought you were setting me up there, mate, but that's exactly what you say about that. Again, keeping the eyes on the prize, fabulous defense, but look at the trail grab on that man.
I mean, you feel a little bit sorry for Perron because he goes up from behind against Fine. He gets the slap on it, but if you don't catch your Ds, that's what happens. You leave the door open. And what a way to not just, open it, but to absolutely, Kool-Aid style blast the wall down from Abita.
Coming back down to earth a little bit off of that absolute sensation of a play. So this is a huge, huge moment for this game. Tchac are now going to have so much fire and energy. Those players are now off the pitch, taking a well-deserved rest, but this is now where you have just done something so spectacular. So for RFO, it's about maintaining your composure, just settling yourselves down. We have a bit of confusion as to what the gender ratios are going to be for this point. So a bit of management to sort themselves for. But this is now a case of you have to hold on with just the fingernails to the lead you have, because I think if we see Tchac get another break here, this game is theirs.
They'll have the momentum going into that universe point. And I mean, look, I'm a neutral as always, but there is not just a bit of me. I think there's a lot of me that wants to see this go all the way to Sunday.
We just want the maximum Frisbee played possible, the maximum drama.
Who doesn't love free Frisbee, right? That's what ULTI.TV is all about. Mate. Of course, Flying Icers will be doing their utmost to ensure that we never get there. A little bit of zone coming out maybe, or is Royan just being given a bit of license to poach around?
No, it is a zone, and I'm not sure I like it.
Hey, throw something different at RFO, why not? You never know, you might just get a cheap turnover while they make an adjustment. Through the centre, Royan nearly nipped in there. Looks like they've transitioned now into going one-on-one. Oh, there's a player who's wide open at the back if they spot it. Royan gets back to cover in time, sneaks that one through there to Mate. Now they try to get a bit of verve and panache about the offense, but have to slow things down again.
Yeah, this is not the moment for anything super spectacular. It's just a case of play keepy disky, grind it forward.
Olé, one pass can do it, and they find it there to Camille Blanc. And I mean, calmness personified out there. We will just dink and dunk all our way down the field and into the quarterfinals with an 11-9 win.
Well, what a contrast, the flamboyance of Tchac's male-matching athletes versus the patience and composure of the women of RFO. That was quite the finish. Choosing that zone almost like a whimper, not a bang in terms of the play on the field. Cool, calm, collected, but well deserved to RFO. They took charge in the midsection of this game after the Tchac break. What an immediate response to take us from 3-2 to 4-3 in their favor. Coming out of nowhere, besting the fourth place team, and look at that for an even game. That one extra turnover for Tchac. And plenty of clean holds for RFO's defense, so watch out for the quarterfinals.
RFO are a team who are not to be trifled with. Just the one loss so far on the weekend, and they're going to parlay that forward into the quarterfinals, where they will face, I'm just going to see if that result is in, the winner of Ukraine Mixed versus Manshot, which is still ongoing, last we heard.
Well, plenty of action all wrapped up. Get your eyeballs over to live.ebucc.eu for all of those standings.
That's going to wrap us up for this game. Into the open quarterfinals next with Sharks versus Mighty Hucks. For Hannah Pendlebury and all of our ULTI.TV crew, Benji Reese saying we'll see you on the other side.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.